He lives to fight another day, does the North West Premier, with this postponement this morning. That SMS from the Speaker's office saying that at the behest of the economic freedom fighters who brought this motion, that they've asked for this motion to be postponed indefinitely. We're not entirely sure what date will be set down again. It all depends on court proceedings, which began yesterday. The EFF launched a motion to have this motion of no confidence heard via secret ballot, and the court has postponed judgment there and wants the parties to come and argue. So it's unclear. I did try to find out from the EFF if those arguments are going to be heard in court today, or if that's going to be heard at a later date. So I don't yet have clarification on when those arguments are going to be presented in court, which will give us some idea potentially of when this motion of no confidence in Premier Supra Mahumapelo will be back on the table. But the Speaker here would have to then come up with a new date to table this motion for debate.
Michael, it already seems like the DA and the EFF know sort of where their mark lies when it comes to this vote, but in asking for the secret vote, it seems like they know sort of, or have an inkling from the other side, from the ANC members there, that they want to vote a certain way, or they wouldn't actually be asking for this. And just sort of talking about the story yesterday with our very own Samkele Meseko, telling us that the writings on the wall there, that Supra Mahumapelo does not enjoy the support he once did within the ANC there in the Northwest.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, and I think the ANC knows that they would lose if it came to the numbers. The EFF categorically states that they believe they have the numbers. They require 8 people from the ANC to vote along with them. They claim they have 13 members. So they don't think the numbers are a problem. But I think there was a caveat, there was a bit of a precondition that came along with those ANC members saying that they would support this motion by the opposition parties here in the Northwest, that being that they don't get targeted, that they don't feel the brunt of their vote after it comes out. And perhaps at their request, they definitely wanted this to be done in secret, and the EFF saying that this is about protecting the ANC members that they believe would vote with them, and they say they have the numbers, and I think it was just a condition that it needed to be done in secret so that there are no consequences and victimization for those that do vote with the opposition here in the Northwest.
What do we know about how Supra Mahumapelo has actually run the Northwest government, Michael? I mean, has there been an element of fear? We know he was a staunch Zuma supporter. We know many controversies surrounding him, the most recent one popping up over the weekend when it came to Denel. Just what do we know about what kind of premier, what kind of leader he's been in the province?
Well, his administration has been dogged by allegations of maladministration, malfeasance, and you know, several months ago it came out that there were certain prepayments to Gupta Link companies, the Mediosa mobile clinics here in the Northwest. We know that company also operates in the Free State, and it's strange how you see a mirror sometimes between what happens in the former province of Mahikeng and what happens here in the Northwest. This contract is in operation in the Free State, but just under a different name, so there's perhaps not that obvious Gupta link. And then you have, in this portfolio committee meeting that I sat in that went on for 11 hours, which eventually saw the HOD of the Northwest Health Department, Dr. Thabo Lekalakala, being placed on special leave pending an investigation by the Hawks. We know he's facing criminal charges of fraud and corruption related to that Mediosa prepayment. And it's a department that is under administration at the moment and has been for some time. And they are unable to financially meet their obligations. And I am told that the Northwest Health Department has been on a go-slow for some time now, and the service delivery has just ground to a halt in terms of the health department. At least there are allegations that service delivery as a whole in the province has ground to a halt. And then of course you have this Denel expose by the city press that came out over the weekend, this 1.1 million rand bursary to Mahumapelo's son. And you have various contracts that it seems they're outsourcing to private companies of what the state should be providing. and then the allegation is that there's some kickback and that those contractors are not meeting their obligations in terms of the public, servicing the public here. The Buthelezi ambulance contract is another one of those. The Premier's offices was raided just a few weeks ago by the Hawks related to Nepo Data Dynamics. It's another IT contract that is supposed to centralize all the IT systems in the province, but that's something that the state's service provider should be doing. So it's another example of outsourcing the responsibilities of the state to a private sector, to a private entity. And the Premier has never been far from controversy, but he remains adamant that this is all a smoke screen, that this is just politicking. And interestingly, the EFF, the DA working together here very closely. It does not mirror what's happening in Port Elizabeth at all, in Nelson Mandela Bay there. So when I asked the DA yesterday what their relationship was like with the EFF, with the Red Berets here in the province, they said it's working well. It's working along the principled line, and the DA very quickly saying that they would support this motion of no confidence in the Premier. Interestingly, it is the Freedom Front Plus that holds one seat here that forms part of the opposition. But questions around whether or not they would support this motion if it went ahead, or whether they would vote along with the ANC in opposition to it, considering that they are the kingmakers in Rustenburg in the Northwest, where the ANC could say to them, well, if you vote against us in this motion here in Mahikeng, then we're going to unseat you there in Rustenburg.
Okay, so